Happy Friday. I'm gonna give it a minute. See if anybody is off from work or what everybody's doing. See if anybody has time to show up. This was not planned. I just know that I'm probably gonna have a busy weekend, and I wasn't sure if I'd be able to make this happen on Sunday like I typically do. And I didn't want to miss out. I didn't want to, go back on my obligations. After doing the interview with Lucas, I've been trying to make my word a little more solid to myself, and that means if I think I'm going to be busy on Sunday when I typically would go live, then on Friday, instead of making a normal video, I'm going to do this. And then because I have something lined up for tomorrow that I should be able to put out Sunday. So just a little swaparoo with video and live. But happy Friday. It's nice to see anybody that's in here. There's nobody saying anything in the chat yet, so I'm not sure. Hey, Brian, my man. Good timing. Good to see you, brother. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Dublin, Ireland, my man. Appreciate you being here. I'm Irish. I love that. There were a couple of things I wanted to touch on. It's always weird going live because really the point of it is for anyone who shows up right now, right? But then I think then my mind gets clouded with like, well, people, it stays up so people can see it later. So should I just stay constant flowing so that the video afterwards is better when someone watches it if they didn't make the live, or should I make it more about the people that are there with me live? And it's just, I can overthink anything, but it's for you guys that are here. It's for the people that are here. Hey, Daniel. I didn't send you the voicemail. This is on Do Not Disturb. I called you. And also, Daniel, I wish we could be doing this together. It's a shame. But I love you, buddy. Appreciate you. Jesse Tillman, how you doing? Sending a lot of love out to Illinois. So since I just saw Daniel's name, one of the things I had written down to touch on, and hopefully he doesn't make me a liar, he's supposed to come back this way because he lives about 5.5 hours north in California. He's supposed to come down this way for Thanksgiving, so I'm hoping to get him to sit down with me so we can chop it up for a second installment with Daniel. I'd like for him to be my first repeat interviewee. I think it would be nice. And some people have asked some questions about, I think Elaine asked me in a comment, she wants to know more about the 12 steps. And rather than me butcher it by myself in a video, I thought that it would be better to talk to another person who's also doing them, has done them, probably knows more about them than I do, or at least I'll have, Daniel to bounce it off of. Indiana. Hello, Misty from Indiana. Good evening, John Maxwell. So yeah, I would like to do that with Daniel. So as long as he's a man of his word and doesn't back out on his friends, which, you never know with Raiders fans, he should be out here around Thanksgiving. So I'll try to get together with him, make that happen. There's a few people I wanted to thank, and I might have thanked a couple the last time, but Monica, Eddie, Julius, Robert, Rachel, Sandy, and truly Tara. You all supported through super thanks or donating to the PayPal or Venmo, and I really appreciate it. I want to make it known that you guys are important. One of the things that when I have Lucas on again, so I'm just going to assume, hey, Melanie, happy Friday. I'm going to assume that most of the people in here saw my interview with Lucas. If you haven't, you should check it out. I thought it was great. It actually, I think the second half of it was better than the first half, just me personally. mainly because I wasn't sure if he wanted to talk about a certain topic, so I didn't ask him about it in the beginning, and it's actually one of the reasons why he got into drugs and stuff. But then, you know, halfway through, I asked him if there's anything that he'd like to talk about that I may have forgotten, and so he mentioned it, and so we got off on that topic, and I think it ended on a really high note, and I'm going to have him back. We're going to talk more about what it's like living with, like, as a sexual abuse survivor type of situation and what that looks like, and I think it'll be really cool. I thought that was a great interview. Let's see here. California, Billy. Oh, another thing about Lucas. I linked his, so he does his own little 10-minute motivational videos on his YouTube. And so the day that I did that video, Tom Langdon, it's good to see you too, bud. The day I did the video with Lucas, he had 12 subscribers and maybe a total between 20 videos he might have had a total of, I don't know, 200 views between all 20 videos, and he had about 11 subscribers. I think I was the 12th. We did that interview Tuesday. I tagged his YouTube handle in the description, and we spoke about it. And I looked today, and he's got 59 subscribers, and just one of his videos has over 600 views. So you guys have made a big difference to him, and that's huge. You know, it's been 3 days, and he's 5x'd his subscriber count, and, you know, altogether probably has over 1,000 views. It's crazy, and I really appreciate anybody that took the time to go check him out. It's not for everybody, just like this isn't for everybody. But if you're looking for some motivation, and you want to see a kid that got sober young and that's really into a disciplined program right now, you should check him out. Pretty gnarly, waking up, doing the things he does. It's not easy. Gargan family, hello. Jesse saying hi to Daniel. Don't make Daniel. Don't stroke Daniel's ego. He's got enough of that. I take care of him. Yeah, Brian, it was huge. Lucas is so pumped. I texted him and I was like, "Hey, have you checked that?" He's like, "No, I haven't." He was so excited. Yeah, Lucas is great for younger viewers. Jesse, I agree. I appreciate you, Gargan family. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support, showing up. Touched on Daniel coming back for Thanksgiving. Man, so went to a meeting at 12:30 out here, and I got asked to speak tonight at 7. And you know, I don't know why I always say yes whenever I'm asked to speak, but I always start overthinking it and think that nobody really wants to hear what I have to say, and start doubting that I can help anybody. And it's just all the crap that I've talked about in a lot of my videos. My self-talk is not the most positive in the world, by nature. Working on it, you know. Yeah, so I got to speak at a meeting at 7. Oh, you're in New Zealand. Heck yeah. Welcome in. Hey, Jack. Hi, Buffy. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I'm going to keep being me. And I'm not for everybody. And I know that. But the right ones, I think the right ones will get something that they need. And that's really what we're doing. I'm just trying to create something that that I wish existed when I was younger, going through what I went through. I wish something like this, maybe it did, but I didn't know about it. I didn't know how to access it. But that's why we do this. We do this to share experience, strength, and hope. Help somebody that's struggling. Even if I can't directly put my hand out and touch your hand and drag you out of the mud physically, seeing that I've come out of it, and by no means, I'm not wealthy, I don't own a house. Like I'm not saying that everything's great, but I do live a beautiful life, and I'm content with who I am, and that's worth more. It's worth more than the other things. Oh, from Bali. Tom, I have not reached out to Seth yet. I'm going to see Mark tomorrow, so I'll see if I can get Seth's email or something from Mark. Mark Leda is the one who runs Soft White Underbelly. I'm going to go by his place tomorrow to get some headshots done. He's a super generous, helpful guy, and he's going to do some headshots for me. And so I'll ask him. I would love to somehow sit Seth down and have a conversation with him. He was great. That interview was so amazing. Excuse me. One of the things I wrote down, I tried to write down a few things because I wasn't sure if anybody was going to show up. So if they didn't, I was just going to turn this into a video that people could watch afterwards, which they can anyway. But one of the things that I wanted to touch on, which I actually spoke on in, let me see, 1 sec. You got your black hoodie. Oh, heck yeah. Good for you. I like that, Brian. Thank you for supporting his channel. Soft White Underbelly is huge. That's why I'm so happy about Lucas's channel and the exponential growth that's happening right now. Most, if not all, of my subscribers and viewers here came from Soft White Underbelly. Mark put me on his channel, and because of that, he showed me to his people, and they followed and came and checked me out. So not that this is anything like Soft White Underbelly as far as size. He has Jesus. He's climbing up to, he's almost at 6 million subscribers, over 1 billion hours watched. Like he's something else. I'm not saying that this is anything like that. I'm just saying it's what you're supposed to do. Mark had me on his, which helped me, and then I had Lucas here, which is helping him, and it's just, and it doesn't really have to do with Mark or me or Lucas. It's the community. It's everyone that's in here right now watching this. None of this would work or matter at all if no one watched it, Yeah, Mark's amazing, Jesse and Brian. Mark is, and I know, some people try and say some things about him. He's a very good man. He's amazing, and he's honest and upfront, and he's a great businessman. He's also a great friend. He, anytime I go and see him, he takes me out to lunch. He's a very healthy guy. He goes to the gym at like 4:30 in the morning every day, and he's not a spring chicken. Although, Mark, if you see this, I'm not saying you're old in any way. I would never say that. Even when you're 80, I would never call you old. But I aspire to be successful and creative and motivated like he is. He's incredible. I wish more people had access to him and could meet him. I wish he's not a very public guy, so he doesn't do many interviews and stuff. I wish I could have him on here. Maybe someday he'll let me sit him down. That would be amazing. Frank in Texas, what's up, brother? Yeah, the interview with Lucas I felt was amazing. Buffy, you're from Soft White as well? Yeah. Yeah, Mark's amazing. And it just shouldn't go unnoticed that I have this because of Mark, because Mark decided to take a chance and have me on his channel. In no way would I have almost 5,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel if I never did that interview on Soft White Underbelly. It's just a fact. Maybe I'd have a few. I don't even know that I would have tried to do this if I hadn't done that interview. And if I didn't have, Mark as a person in my life saying, yeah, try it. It's the worst that can happen. It doesn't work, and then you're right back where you started. It's not like you lose anything. So I got off track. One of the things that I wanted to talk about today, because I started to talk with Lucas a little bit about it, when I was taking him home, when I was driving him home after our interview. We were talking about when we were younger, because when we had gone through our trauma, like who do you tell? Like, who's it okay to give that sort of information to? And I don't think there's an easy answer. I know for sure the answer is not everybody. Not everybody deserves sensitive information about you. I'm going to try and speak for myself. There are people out there that will just use information that you give them against you. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't that way. That's just, I'm not going to pretend like, although I do think that humans are innately good and have a lot of good inside of us, I'm not oblivious to the other side of that coin. Just as far as the pendulum can swing to the good, it can dip down just as far into the bad. And so who to confide in and tell your secrets to or sensitive information to. It was just a really interesting conversation that Lucas and I had, and I had that we touched me and Hutch and I touched on this in one of our episodes that we did together, and because he asked me, he said, "How do you know? Like, when is it okay to tell your secrets?" And I mean, I remember the conversation. My answer was, for me, I would start to give out information, and based on how they reacted or based on their follow-up after what I said, I would base my decision whether or not to keep going. An example would be if I said to, if I told someone when I was younger, hey, this is, somebody, was inappropriate with me, and it did some stuff with me sexually, and I'm really feeling some sort of way about it. It's affecting my life. And if their response was, oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear that. Like, how's it affecting you? What does that make you feel? Like, how are you dealing with that? Then I would continue the conversation. But if I said the same thing, this happened, some sexually inappropriate stuff happened, and it's really affecting my life, and their response to that is, well, what actually happened? Like tell me what happened. Who was it? I wouldn't. Because in my mind, and this is just my personal experience. In my mind, they are now digging for more information, not allowing me to naturally come out with it. And for me, prodding for more information, in my experience, is not a healthy, positive, productive thing. When someone is trying to pull information out of me, it's usually not because they want to help me. Typically, there are obviously exceptions to rules, but based on how they responded to what I was saying, I could typically tell if they were genuinely interested in the way that in my well-being, or if they were genuinely interested in knowing more information about me to use as they saw fit. Whether they use it to talk down on me with other people, whether they use it against me later on, like, hey, I need you to do this for me. If you don't, I'm going to tell people what you told me about that one time or whatever. Like, but it's tough. How do you ever know? That's like saying, how can I find a girl that won't cheat on me? Like, I don't know. Anybody's capable of doing something like that. There's no, guys with brown hair you can tell secrets to, and they won't tell anybody. Like, it's just, people are people, and you just gotta feel people out. And I think I have a lot of experience with people's bullshit and feeling people out, knowing when I'm getting played because of the lifestyle I chose to live for a long time. As a young kid, I didn't understand. I didn't understand that sometimes people wanted me around just because of the way that I looked. I didn't know that some people just wanted me around so that they could, do sexual stuff with me, whether I wanted to or not. I didn't know that, some people wanted me around just because I had cool friends. Like, before, you have to learn those things. And I learned them the hard way. I learned that, that a lot of the times girls weren't actually interested in who I was. They just thought that I was handsome, and they wanted to like tell other girls that I was their boyfriend. But they didn't care about, they didn't like the things I liked. They didn't care about my feelings, or you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that I'm guilty of that as well. I'm just saying those are lessons that I had to learn the hard way. But once you learn those, get a little better at, you know, weeding out the bad ones. But there are great manipulators and great pretenders and sociopaths that, can play the game better than anybody else. I'm not saying I'm a human lie detector test or anything, but through pain and experience, you learn how to navigate people when you live the type of life that I've lived. I gotta get caught up here. Brian M. I understand. Yeah, I was so good at keeping secrets. I mean, there have been some secrets that I kept for 20 years. And not like somebody was like, hey man, I need to tell you something, promise you won't say anything. I'm not saying like that. I'm saying things that happened to me, people that hurt me, that I just didn't talk about for decades, 2 decades, because I just didn't know how to say it out loud. I didn't know who it was okay to say to. Because what if I say it and nothing changes? What if I say it and they say bullshit? Like, I wasn't prepared to handle something like that. So it was like, okay, well, I've made it this long, holding the secret in. I know if they don't believe me, or if they call me a liar, or if they go telling everybody, I know that that's going to be worse than this. So I'm just going to stick with this until I made the choice to say something. But man, I could keep a secret with the best of them. It's kind of late to be having coffee. It's 4:30. But again, I got to speak at 7, so I want to make sure that I'm aware of what's happening. What else we got? Buffy. It's all about trust. Yeah, that's the thing. Trust my instincts. But my instincts were sharpened over the years. After getting hurt, after trusting the wrong. I learned a lot about trust after trusting the wrong people. I learned a lot more from my failures than my victories. I can confidently say that. I learned more about love from getting my heart broken than I did when things are just going great, And that's just me. I'm not saying that that's, the secret to life or anything. It's just something that I find true in my life. Brian M. found he held resentments toward the adults in my life. Oh yeah. Yeah. Man, I know. It's interesting that you say that, Brian, because I had a therapist one time ask me if I was mad at my mom because she didn't protect me. And I was offended because, no, my mom would have protected me if she knew. If I told her that something felt weird, or before something even happened, if I had told her the way people were behaving towards me, none of that stuff would happen to me. My mother would have killed somebody and gone to jail to protect me. I didn't afford her the chance, because I knew that, because I knew what was happening was wrong. And although I didn't have at the time the maturity or the strength to stand up for myself, I thought I could handle it. I thought I don't want to drag my mom into. I don't want to drag anybody into this. Like I'm a big boy. I can handle it. I wasn't. You know what I mean? I wasn't a big boy. I was a little kid, but it was just delusional thinking. The tools that I had at the time were not. I was not equipped to handle what I was going through. But when that therapist asked me that, hey, you resentful at your mom, I got upset. I was like, no. I might be resentful at her for other things at the time, like always asking me to take the damn trash out and always waking me up in the morning when I want to sleep until 12 because I was up all night doing Oxycontin and smoking weed. Like I was, I'd get upset with her about that stuff, but no, she would have protected me with her life. I just didn't afford her that chance. And that's on me, Um, but yeah, you just reminded me of that therapist, Brian. I appreciate you. Let's see. Dean Jordan, you found my interview. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. If I inspire anybody, it means a lot to me. And you're in the UK. Hell yeah. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. If anybody has any questions, type your questions. Give me something that you want to know, something that you want to chat about, not about politics, not about gender issues, not about, none of that stuff that has no one way or another, you lose. But if you want to talk about anything else, I would love to. Jesse Tillman, we are all victims. Yeah. Chris the Red. Chris the Red, email me. If this comment is, if you're really struggling like that, shoot me an email. But I understand. I'm having money trouble as well. And I have felt like harming myself for years and years and years. Shoot me an email if you need to, bud. Oh yeah, Buffy, thanks. I mean, my mom was everything. She is everything. She was my mom, my dad. She taught me how to throw a baseball. Her and my grandfather taught me how to ride a bike. Like my mom, I watched her work her ass off her whole life so that I could have everything that I needed, most of what I wanted. I mean, she's a hardworking lady. She just retired a couple years ago. She's great. Tom Langdon. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and perpetrators of abuse also abuse in some way. It's interesting because another thing that Lucas and I talked about on the ride home, he was really, he was like, "Hey man, I'm just, you're a savage for saying some of the things you said." And I was like, "What? Like what are you actually talking about? Because it's nothing that I haven't said before." And he was like, that thing that you said about like being afraid to be around kids. And so what he was talking about was in the interview I mentioned, again, I dealt with sexual abuse from 4 to 12 with a family member, and then from 13 to 15 with my teacher. Having been through that stuff, it caused me to be very uncomfortable around children, and it's so hard to put into words as to what the feeling was. It was like I would never want anyone anywhere to think that I had any malintentions with the child, so I just stayed away from them. Or if I was around them, I wouldn't interact with them. I would just try to avoid them. And there was this weird thing in my mind that because I had watched, I'm super into serial killers and true crime stuff and psychological thrillers, and I know that statistically speaking, like, I don't know, I'm just gonna, this is not, this is not exact. I'm just for conversation's sake. Statistically speaking, like 80% of people who sexually abuse kids were sexually abused themselves. That doesn't mean, I didn't know this, but that doesn't mean that 80% of people who are sexually abused become sexual abusers. But I didn't know that at the time. And so watching all these things and hearing all these things and like, you know, watching interviews of people in prison or you know, and them talking about like, I don't know, there's just one day something clicked and I just, this is what happened. And I was all of a sudden, you know, I couldn't help myself and blah, blah, blah. And so in my mind, I'm like, holy shit, like if all those people were just normal people, but because they were sexually abused, one day randomly something in their brain, some switch went off and it turned them into a monster too. Like, just in case that happens to me, I'm going to make sure I'm never around kids. Because if I'm not around kids, even if that switch happens, I can't do anything wrong. Obviously, that's not real life. And that's not the way that it works. I was not afraid, you know, I wasn't uncomfortable around kids because I was attracted to them or because it was just this, I don't know, false information that I believed. And I thought that because that had happened to me, maybe at some point my brain was just going to change, like without my say so. And it's silly, you know what I mean? But at the time I didn't know. And so I just stayed away from kids. And Lucas thought that it was really, because he said that he had felt that way too. Like, you know, am I just going to be that too because it happened to me? And it's a scary thought because I would never want anything like that. I would never want to victimize somebody, even my age. Like, I never mind kids, innocent children. So to feel that way and to not understand what to do with it, for me, led me to find and consistently use drugs to numb that out because I didn't want to think about that. And the drugs worked. They helped. I didn't want to hurt myself anymore using drugs, although I was hurting myself by using the drugs. It's a whole weird thing. But let me catch up on these. Dean Jordan, you're in recovery about a year now, losing your motivation. Yeah, it's December 17th, 2023. Congratulations, man. June 6th, 2017. Apologize. June 6th, 2017 is my clean date. It's not always easy to get the motivation. Sometimes it's tough. I didn't want to go to a meeting today, but I got myself to go at 12:30, and then somebody asked me to speak tonight, so it's where I was supposed to be. Nobody had made coffee, so I made coffee. It's less about wanting to, and it's just more about doing it, man. I promise. Just train your feet, and your feet will take you where you need to be. Train your feet to hit meetings. Train your feet to take you to call your sponsor or whatever it might be. And when in doubt, just let your feet take over. Don't overthink it. Just do the next indicated step. That's all we can do. Sometimes all we can do is take a deep breath and chill and not make a decision. Better than a bad decision, in my opinion. Some people think that you should make a decision one way or another. Some people think no decision is a bad decision. I don't all the time. Brian M. Heck yeah, it is awesome. Jesse Tillman, you guys are all, see, look at the community coming together and telling Dean how important what he's doing is. Dude, honestly, Lucas mentioned this to me. He was like, dude, your community is unreal. And he's right. And, not that it's my community, but the community that we have built here on this platform in my channel, like everyone in here is so amazing all the time. It's not like, sometimes. You guys are always great. And it's amazing. I don't know how to put it into words, but I mean, if you guys weren't so great, I would not be sitting here in my living room staring at myself on a phone, making a video at 5 o'clock on a Friday. I wouldn't. there's other things I can be doing for sure, but this has meaning and this is working. I don't have a million followers. I don't know if I ever will, but the 4,940 whatever that I do have all count. Not everybody watches every one of my videos. That's okay. Someone might subscribe. Someone might just watch a video, not subscribe, get something from it, and never watch my stuff again. If they get something from it, I did what I'm here to do. I'm not here to get rich. I'm not here to put out content that is controversial so that a bunch of people click on it. I'm here to be me. I'm here to share a space with like-minded individuals or just curious individuals. And it's working. What I set out to do is happening. And the rewards are not financial. The rewards are, spiritual in nature and building me up emotionally and making me feel useful. Someday will this become a means to financial freedom? God, I wish. There's nothing that I would like more than to do this all the time. God willing, we'll see. But you guys are great, and it's not said enough how amazing this community is. Solo Sinners in here, Jules. What's up, Jules? Solo Sinner helped me make my my banner. I don't know if you guys have seen that new banner on my homepage. It's got half my face, half of a mask, and Joshua Tree Desert in the background. He's a wizard. He's a wizard on the computer. And I really appreciate him. He's become a friend of mine, and I love him. He's a good guy. Tom Langdon. Yes, I am hyper aware of the language and the behavior of them. It works for me in most cases, but sometimes it causes me a lot of probably unnecessary stress. Like when I mentioned that I was at church and my son was in the other room with the kids playing, doing arts and crafts. Like I found myself wondering, there's something going on right now that I could be in there stopping, because all cards on the table, there were many times where things were happening to me. And there was, when I was a kid sexually, there were times where there were things happening to me, and there was an adult in the next room who would have protected me and stopped it if I would have screamed or done something. But I didn't, in fear that maybe they wouldn't help. But knowing how close help was, yet I'm there being silent. I'm just not naive to how easy it is to hurt people. Like in front of it, like under people's noses. My teacher and coach was grooming and abusing me in front of everyone. Like everyone saw what was happening, but it was, shrouded in this other thing. And so, yeah, my mind can get a little crazy, I wouldn't want it any other way. I wouldn't want to be naive to it and allow something to, but yeah, it's we all have our burden to bear. Mine's not so bad. It could be a lot worse. Jesse Tillman, you're such a sweetheart. You're welcome, Jesse. You guys are the best. I agree, Solo Sinner. He should watch all of them from a bunch of different YouTube accounts, a million different YouTube accounts. Just view them. No, you should definitely check it out. Some of it's great, I think. Some of it's probably horrible. But in the description should let you know what the topic is. But yeah, you should check out some of my videos. Can't hurt, and it'll give you something to do. Hi, Solo Sinner. Can't believe you didn't announce yourself when you first showed up. You're a celebrity around here, man. Come on. It does take a village, Jesse. And I'm glad you're here, and I appreciate how kind you are and uplifting. And anytime you ever leave a comment, it's great. And that doesn't mean that they always have to be. If you guys ever want to say some, I can handle. There's a motorcycle going by. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I can take constructive criticism pretty well. I can take any criticism really. Um, like a couple of people when I interviewed Dan, not Daniel, my buddy, who I did the first one with, but Dan, the recent one. Some people didn't like it, and they said that in the comments, and that's okay. Some of my videos you're not going to like. Some of my videos are going to suck. I'm being honest. You know, this might suck right now. I don't know, but I mean, I'm here. I'm going to do it. You know, even the best of the best, don't hit the mark every time. Professional baseball players strike out. They're the best hitters in the world. They still strike out. They're going against the best pitchers, but they get up and they swing again. So like a batter in the major leagues, 300 is a good average. If 3 out of 10 of my videos change someone's life, I'm okay with that. 100%. I'll take 7 bad videos if 3 of them are going to prevent someone from harming themselves, prevent someone from getting into a relationship where they might be mistreated. If it prevents someone from thinking that they're worthless, I'll take those odds. I'll bat 300 any day of the week and be completely happy with what I'm doing. Hopefully, I do better than that, but I would take that. Hi, Muhammad. I'm not sure how to say that. Let's see. I do think out loud a lot. Heck yeah, Frank. You subbed to Lucas's channel. Yeah, he is. I mentioned that at the beginning of this. I don't know if you were here. Tuesday, before I interviewed him, he had 11 followers. I was his 12th. Before I started this video, he had 59. And he had about 200 total views, and he has 20 videos. One of his videos has over 650 views right now. So where this community is boosting, it's crazy how it works, because the more people watch it, the more YouTube suggests other people to watch it. It's kind of one of those things. Like, it's a lot easier for like millionaires to make more millions than it is for a regular person to make their first million. I don't know why the world works that way. You would think it would be the opposite. That's something that I never understood. This is probably so off topic, but so like a professional baseball player, take Mike Trout, whoever, they make, $500 million for a 10-year contract, right? And when they go to a restaurant, the restaurant will offer them their meal for free. But like, he's got $500 million. But I go to a restaurant, I don't even have $500, and I got to pay full price. It just seems it should be the opposite. Like, they should have to pay more. They have plenty. I don't. Society is just so crazy to me. Everything's just so backwards. That's neither here nor there. Sorry I got off topic, but I think about that a lot. Why do people with the most money get offered the most free shit? Doesn't make any sense. I digress. Anybody have any? Oh, let's see what Dean Jordan's saying here. You honestly were interested in content because it's no bullshit. Yeah, of course it's no bullshit. I don't really like to beat around the bush. I just dive in, bud. I'm going to keep at it. I need you to keep at it, bud. 7 years is a long time to be clean. Your clean date, having a year is huge. It took me a decade to get a year clean. It took me a long time. It's just worth it. You're worth being clean, You're worth being sober. Although life is still hard, man. Like, just because I got clean doesn't mean I have no problems. I mentioned it before, and it might sound stupid, but it's true. Just because I win the lottery doesn't mean my bills stop coming. They continue to come. They're just easier to handle because I hit the lottery. Life still shows up, and bad shit still happens in my world. I'm just better equipped to handle it. And depending on my spiritual condition at that time and my perspective, that's what decides how I handle it. So if I'm working my program and I'm spiritually fit, and you know, I get into a car accident, it doesn't seem as bad as if I got into a car accident. And it's a terrible example. It's just an example. But if I wasn't spiritually fit and I wasn't going to meetings and I hadn't done step work and I wasn't being honest with the people that I care about and who care about me, and I got into a car accident, I would be full of self-pity and rage and hatred. And it would just, even though it would be the exact same situation, I would feel very differently and I would handle it very differently. We just get a daily reprieve, every day. And this far in, this 7 years in, it's easy to not use drugs, but it's hard to change some behaviors. It's still not. I still sometimes would like to lie. Sometimes I would still like to manipulate someone to do what I think is best, or just manipulate someone to do what I want them to do because I'll gain from it. I still want to behave that way. I don't. But I naturally still want to because I did for so long in order to survive in that world. So it's more for me about behaviors today. Oh, more than the drugs. But you'll get there, and you deserve to get there. Just give yourself a chance. Jesse Tillman. Chuck, I am not a cop. Kind of the opposite. I was a homeless heroin addict for a while. No, not a cop. Appreciate it though. I guess I think that's a compliment. I'll take it. Although when I do have just a mustache, like when I shave the rest and I just have a mustache, I get that a lot. People ask me that, are you fireman? Are you a cop? It's like, nah, neither. But thank you. Maybe. I appreciate that. I think it's a compliment. Tom, I know his story's tough. And he's still coming out of the fog. He's at 9 months clean. That's not, I wasn't like this at 9 months. I wasn't as clear-headed, and time does a lot. Time allows for a lot of healing. I'm not one that believes that like time just itself heals wounds or makes things better. It's not the time that makes it better. It's that time allows you to work on those things, and time allows you the healing process. Time is bullshit. We made up time. Time isn't even actually a thing. We created clocks and calendars and months and based on the sun and the star. Like, time isn't a thing. We made it. I mean, it's a man-made thing, but it's not like a can't touch it. Again, sometimes I say some stupid things. Listen to me or not. We're getting sidetracked there. A lot of celebrities and they all get free stuff. Yeah. I know, bud. Brian, I think you're a good example of what recovery looks like, brother. Yeah, I am gonna go speak at a meeting soon. Yes, it's a great Friday. I didn't make any money today, but I'm helping people. I'm here with my community. Speaking of making money, so the last 2 days, Solo Sinner knows about this. Last 2 days I've been working up in Big Bear, which is a part of California. That's like a mountain where snow, people go snowboarding and skiing and stuff. And so from Venice to get to my boss's house, who I ride up to Big Bear with, he's about an hour and a half from me. So, and to leave to get to the job site at 7:00, I had to be at his house at 5:30. So I had to wake up here at 3:45. Shout out Lucas. Lucas wakes up at 3:45 every morning. How he does that? He's got to be insane a little bit. So last 2 days, yesterday and the day before, I woke up at 3:45, left the house at 4, got to my boss's house by 5:30, left his house at 5:30, got to the mountain at 7, worked until 5, got back to his house at about 6:30-ish, and then got back to Venice about 8:15. So 3:45 a.m. to 8:15, 8:30 p.m. yesterday and the day before. And it was great. It was great. Was I tired? Yeah, maybe a little bit. but it was great. I felt so useful and productive. And, you know, looking at the clock and it's 8:45 a.m. And then I'm like, holy shit, I've been up for 5 hours. This is crazy. It's a good feeling. I gotta say, I liked it. Um, could I do that every day? No, it's not worth it. $50 a day in gas? No, not worth it. Basically, working just to be able to put gas in my car to go work more. Like, no, it's not. It was actually horrible in that regard, but I felt good. You know, it made me feel like a man. It made me feel productive. I got to do some hands-on stuff, construction work. It was nice. Got to see some beautiful, you know, sunrises and sunsets and the moon. I actually sent the picture to Solo Center. The moon was still out above a bunch of fog real early in the morning. And that's something I need to do. I need to work on how to get my community, the community tab. I want to post some pictures and, you know, have some polls with you guys and do some things. I got to figure out how to do it, though. I'm not as savvy as some of the people in here. Brian, you're right. Yeah, shoot me an email. Solo Sinner is a smart dude. He's a smart guy. Although he's Canadian, he's quite smart. You know what I mean? Usually you wouldn't think, but genius level. And I'm joking because I'm half Irish and half French Canadian, and I love Canada. That was just a dig at Canada because I can do that on my channel, and it's okay because I'm Canadian, so I can say that. You know what I mean? But I love you, Jules. You're the man. And yes, he was very apprehensive to send me that first email. I remember. But now we've had, Jesus, I don't know, 4 or 5 Zoom calls so that he can help me with this and to chat, and it's great. You know, it's amazing. Not that I haven't had any Zoom calls with anybody else from this. I'm just saying, you never know what could happen. Shoot me an email. It's the worst that could happen. Yes, he is Canadian. Yes. Does anyone? So we've been here for 52 minutes. You know, I'm not the I'm not the brightest, most clever, interesting individual on the planet. So I do run out of things to talk about. I've talked about everything I wrote down. Not everything. I wrote down that I'm back in the gym. I was going to touch on that because I'm feeling pretty good. I had dipped down to about 186 pounds. I don't like that. I was 201. Now I'm back in the gym, back eating better, and I'm back up to 191. I love that. Love feeling strong, you know. By no means do I lift real heavy weight, but it's just nice, you know. This morning, because I've been getting up so early, this morning I slept in technically, got up at like 7:15 and went to the gym. It was amazing. And Lucas would probably talk shit because I didn't wake up until 7:15, but it is what it is. You know, I'm softer than he is when it comes to waking up and taking showers, cold showers. And, you know, he's got me on that. But if you cut me in half, I'd have more rings than he, because he's only 22 and I'm 40. It's so crazy saying that I'm 40 years old. I love it. I'm in the best shape of my life. Probably not stamina wise, but I'm in the best shape that I've been since I turned probably 22. Life's great. I love coming here with you guys. I love showing up, and I love seeing you guys in here. What's up, Jalen? Do I have any ideas for my next guest interview? Yes, I am supposed to. So, went to a meeting at 12:30 today, an AA meeting around the corner called Que Sera Sera. And it's at a house. And I got asked to speak tonight at 7 p.m. So I'm going to go speak there. The meeting's called The Game Show. The person who owns and runs that nonprofit, that house, her name is Jules, not to be confused with Solo Sinner. And Jules is an artist, a local artist in Venice that goes by the name of Muck, sometimes Muck Rock. And she runs that house, and it is called Muck Recovery, M-U-C-K Recovery. And it's on Instagram. And the meeting list is on Instagram as well. But she's an amazing artist. And so at the meeting at 12:30, I was like, hey, when's the soonest time from right now that you could give me like an hour of your time so I could interview you? And she said, how about we do it tomorrow? And I said, fucking right. Pardon my language. I didn't say pardon my language to her, but pardon my language. But I said, yeah, fuck yeah, I would love to do that tomorrow. So tomorrow there's a meeting over there at 5 and then at 7. So between 6 and 7, I'm going to have an hour of her time. And I think we're going to do it in her painting studio. And she's incredibly talented, incredibly popular. She's flown to all sorts of places. She was just in New York not too long ago. I think she went to Paris. I mean, she started, I actually don't even know. I know that there's murals all over Venice and Santa Monica on the sides of buildings that she did, and they say Muck or, Muck Rock on them. But she's really cool. She's a cool lady. And I'm planning on interviewing her tomorrow and then probably releasing that Sunday. And that's why I'm live today, because my weekend's probably going to be busy. I got my son's t-ball game in the morning. Tomorrow, 90 minutes away. I got to try and maybe get a haircut over there, because then I got to come back and get some headshots done with Mark over at Mark's Studio, Software Underbelly. And I'd just like for it to be a little cleaned up. If I can do that, we'll see. As everyone knows, money's a little tight, but we'll see how that goes. So then I got to come back, meet up with Mark, do the little photo shoot deal. He's helping me out. It's not a job. And then interview Jules. And then Sunday, Megan's off. That's our day together. We're going to hit the farmer's market, go to church, and I have to speak Sunday night at 7. I already knew I had to speak Sunday night at 7. Tonight, speaking at 7 was just kind of sprung on me. So it's going to be a busy weekend, and I didn't want to not go live on Sunday, because I'm trying to stick to my word better, and trying to follow through on things that I say I'm going to do. So it was like, all right, I'll just swap. Usually Friday I'll come out with a video. Sunday I'll go live. I'll just swap them. I'll go live Friday and I'll put out a video Sunday, and we'll see how it goes. And here we are. You know what I mean? I think it worked out beautifully. But that's my next guest. But also I asked, I've been holding this the whole time, wanting to hit it. Damn it. So I actually also reached out to Dustin today. Actually, Dustin reached out to me last night. Look at me. I lie by accident. Dustin reached out to me last night because the treatment facility that he runs, one of their sister programs, a sober living house, needs a new guy to manage the sober living, and he asked if I'd be interested in doing that job. So we'll see if that works out. But so then I was like, hey man, I'd like to sit down with you again and do a chat. And I was going to try and do that today, but he was kind of busy. He said he had to take a nap, and he's actually speaking at a meeting at 7. So today wasn't going to work, but I'm going to get Dustin back again in the next week. Outside of that, I don't have anyone actually set up. I've talked to a lot of people about doing it, but people flake. I do too. Yeah, I'm not talking bad about anybody, but it's just hard to. It's easy to talk about it, and it's easy for someone to say, yeah, that'd be great, but actually like making time to meet up is hard as an adult, with kids, and they all have kids and they all work, and it's just a lot. Oh, I'm missing some stuff. What do we got here? Sending much appreciation from Philly. Hell yeah, James. I'm incredibly lucky. Megan and Jackson, it's beyond my wildest dreams, I have an amazing son. If you guys haven't checked out his video, you should check it out. He's cute. He's quiet a lot, and he sniffles because he's got a runny nose, but it's amazing. He's a great kid, I didn't deserve to have such an amazing child. He's the best kid I've ever known. You know, he's something else. And Megan's just such a blessing. I'm so lucky. You don't even know how lucky. You know what I mean? And she feels sometimes that she's the lucky one, so it works out. You know, um, we're very different, but we complement each other in the best ways. And I'm just so lucky and grateful for Megan, for Jackson, for you all that are here. Um, Speak now or forever hold your peace. If you have a burning desire, if there's something on your mind that you want to know or that you're curious about, yeah, Dean, everybody here will support you, brother. Yeah, shoot me an email. Oh, it's 1 a.m. Damn, get some sleep, brother. Shoot me an email. My email's on in my channel description. God is good. Look at everybody saying goodnight to Dean. You guys are the best. All right, I'm gonna give you guys, oh God, one last chance. Speak now or forever hold your peace, because I'm gonna have to eat some food before this meeting. I mean, the meeting's it's 5:15. I got an hour and a half ish. Frank, I'm the lucky one, brother. You guys got to deal with me coming on here and thinking I know what the meaning of life is and shit. And, you know, I get to show up and hang out with a bunch of really, really cool, positive, empathetic people, and it's amazing. I definitely have the better end of the deal, if you ask me. But I appreciate everybody that showed up. I really do. Frank, Buffy, Jesse, Solo, Sina, Jules, all you guys, everyone in here, guys and girls. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'll keep you guys posted on that job. It's actually in Venice, the sober living, the recovery house. So that'll be cool. And I'll keep you guys posted on the PO box. I'm working on it. It's not as easy as I thought it was going to be, but I'm working on it. I'll definitely have it up before Thanksgiving, for sure. I appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful night. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Tell somebody that you care about them. Only if you tell them the truth, though. No gaslighting allowed in this community. I love you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful Friday night. Until next time, I am Jack. This is Jack Unmasked. And I appreciate you. Have a wonderful night.